Hi there, this video's got live special Labour Party reform video, UK 2023.
Sounds very important. Some people say very much needed, but it also sounds quite distant. What difference would your administration make to the classroom?
Well, let me start, if I may, with the why question, which is why are we doing this? Because the ambition is to remove barriers to opportunity, and really I'd describe it as saying that we want to break the link between where people start in life as children and young people and where they end up. Because for years that's been flatlining or going backwards, this sense that you're determined more by the earnings of your parents than you are by your talent. And that's why one of the ways I've described this is breaking the class ceiling that we still have in our society. That does mean change in our early years provision.
Next day is the 6th of July, Thursday 2023.
I accept
Time's down
the
there.
challenge, if you like, that you put to me.
Digital
This will
and
take
analog.
time, but the missions that I've set out, and this is what I would hope to put in place if we're privileged enough to be elected into government, they're intended to be a sort of driving.
You will be, mate, next year. They won't vote for you.
What would an incoming Labour government
More than likely.
achieve for the country over 5 or more years that would bring about material change? I'm not running away from the fact that there are problems in the day-to-day. I accept that. But what I think has gone wrong in the last 13 years or so is that we've been stuck in a sort of what I call sticking plaster politics, where we sort of patch up what we've got, but we don't fix the fundamentals. And I want an incoming Labour government to fix the fundamentals. And one of those fundamentals is, as I say, making sure that where you start in life doesn't determine where you end. I mean, as you can probably tell, this is something I'm very passionate about. It's my own story, if you like. I started,
Wow.
in a working class family. My dad was a toolmaker, worked in a factory. My mum was a nurse. And, I was lucky enough to progress to become the leader of the Crown Prosecution Service and now the leader of the Labour Party. So this is about aspiration and opportunity, about change. I accept that it is, medium to long-term change, but it is vitally needed and will give those children and their families the opportunity that, in my view, they strongly deserve.
Okay, if I may...
That sounds good. I like the sound of that.
A lot of that sounds very worthy and very important, but I'm not quite sure where that would leave a teacher with a classroom that doesn't have enough pens or pencils. I'm not sure where it leaves a school whose roof is leaking, or the heating doesn't work, or the windows don't fit. You know those stories.
You
I'm
are
not
grilling
sure
him,
that
Charlie,
any of
aren't you?
what just said will make any difference
Chill.
to what happens in the classroom.
Well, it will make a huge difference. But what we also want to set out, and I am setting out today, is what the initial first steps will be. So you're right to indicate that we've got a shortage of teachers at the moment. For core subjects like maths and physics, we don't have teachers in those areas in our schools in sufficient numbers.
They don't. Half of them don't know what they don't know their history, or they're not very good teachers at all. They're the wrong job.
So that you get this sense of a qualified teacher in maths and physics teaching in those areas. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the tax break that is there for private schools at the moment, remove that and use that money straight away to recruit those teachers. Also put in place a retention policy, because too many teachers are leaving. They're burnt out too early in our schools. We need a retention policy as well. So they are within what we're trying to do today. But I do feel strongly that if we don't do the long-term change as well, we've got to look at the language skills that young people need, children, young people. That's something we can do at reception stage. Every parent will know that seeing their child begin to communicate and express themselves is a wonderful thing. It's fantastic. But where a child struggles with that, it is likely to hold them back for the rest of their lives. And so we want also to put provision in there. We want to make sure that we look again at the curriculum and make sure that there's a greater emphasis on arts and creative subjects within the curriculum. There isn't that.
Fascinating.
That makes a huge
Okay, if I may, I know we're limited for time, Sir Keir Starmer, so I want to try and, if I may, I want to bring you back to some of the core questions. Let's keep it really simple.
Here we go.
Will you spend more money on schools?
Yes, and today we're setting out what we will spend and where we will get it from.
So give me a sense of how much that will be. Can you give me a sense of how much money that will be?
Yeah. So if we get rid of the tax break on private schools, that yields over £1 billion, and that gives us money to do a number of things, including what I just set out, which is the recruiting of 6,500 new teachers in the area. I mean, parents watching this will know that where their child is being taught maths and physics and there isn't a maths or physics teacher available, that is not a good thing. We've got to fix that. So yes, it will cost money. We've said where the money will come from, used directly to, in that case, recruit those teachers.
So let's stick with that. Thank you for that answer. So if we stick with some of these money issues, and I appreciate the big picture, and then there's the money issues. The current figure for the spend per pupil for 23-24, as I understand it, 5 to 16-year-olds is 7,460 per pupil. I'm not sure if that's a figure you recognise. That's from gov.uk. Now, would that number be higher under a Labour administration?
Well, yes, in the sense that where we're recruiting or where we're getting rid of loopholes for private schools and able to put, in that case,
it's quite a simple question. Would that number be higher?
But well, as I say, where we've made specific pledges, we have costed them, and obviously we'll continue to do that going into the election. At the moment, we're facing a very badly damaged economy. At the moment, we don't know when the election will be, and obviously we'll set out our full plans. But the approach I've taken, and you can challenge it, is where we've made specific provision that we're going to do something, let's say recruit 6,500 new teachers, we've said how much that will cost, where the money's going to come from. And so that's the approach today. It's actually the approach we'll take all the way into the election.
There you go, your parents
so
watching this video.
I mean, I didn't give you a specific number. Some people might be a little perplexed as why you just can't say as a pledge.
That's the younger parents.
We would spend more per pupil than is being spent now.
Well, when I'm saying we're going to put £1 billion more in, that is what I'm saying. What I don't want to do is make pledges about how much we'll spend that I can't keep, or promises that can't be delivered.
So many years ago.
The approach I've taken is to say we will set out specifically what we will do, and we will cost that. And as we go into the election, obviously there'll be more of that costing set out. But we are going to inherit, unfortunately, a very badly broken economy after 13 years of failure under this government. Very badly broken public services.
That's what you can do, basically.
We have to pick up that mess, fix it.
Can I ask you a couple more specific
things? Can't.
Which is to improve the
He's very honest. I think I like this bloke, don't you? If you like this video, press the thumbs up. Press the thumbs up on the left side of the button, on the left side of the screen.
There is a suggestion that the School Teachers Review Body has suggested a figure of 6.5% for the pay deal going forward into next year. We don't know that because it hasn't been published, but is that something that you would pay?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what they do propose. I think they've made their proposals with the government. The government is sitting on it, which is unforgivable because we need to resolve this strike. We do not want children out.
It's ridiculous.
Industrial action going on, so it needs to be resolved. I'm not going to commit to a particular figure. I will wait and see what that review body says. But I'll tell you what, if we were in power, we'd be in the room negotiating this. I think that many people watching would be pretty astonished to know that the government hasn't been in the negotiating room for weeks and weeks.
I'm not surprised.
During which time this dispute is going on, during which time that massively impacts on children and young people. So it's got to be resolved. Government asked for this pay review body. It's now sitting on the report. I think we're entitled to say why. Get on with it. Publish a report. Get back in the room. Negotiate and compromise and get this over the line so that our schools can be functioning properly.
You'll be aware that today the banks and lenders have been questioned about whether they're profiteering from the situation of interest rates. We're also hearing a lot of complaints about supermarkets and petrol pricing, for example. So if you were Prime Minister, what would you be doing differently to force the hand of those who some people say are taking advantage of the situation?
Is this a sign that you've planned for a journey?
Look, I do want to see banks doing the right thing when it comes to savings, because the mortgage hike that has happened for many people, this Tory mortgage bombshell, which is largely down to the damage that's been done to our economy by this government, that's really hitting people hard. I do want banks to do the right thing when it comes to savings and in relation to food prices. But in the end, We've got to get out of this by
It's live right now.
stabilising and growing our economy, and that's why today I'm setting out the fifth of my missions. The first of them was all about how we grow our.
And you stick to it, mate. Don't start going like don't do a Boris Johnson.
This sort of doom cycle of going round and round with higher bills, higher taxes, and lower wages.
We
Yeah.
appreciate your time this morning.
If you like this video, please hit a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel on Sunday Jones. For speed with your eyes. That's what they need today. That way they need to shoot.
20 minutes to 8. It's time.
Hope you like this video. This is my friend's Biking Jim on the ITF Friday Fair. Every Friday at 3 to 5 PM on the radio station show. And this is me on Laura Show live with John Matt. If you name it, Sunday 9 AM to 12 PM with John the Matt on the Road Radio Station show. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel on Sunday Jones where this guy fixes his guns. And here's the proof. Video evidence. See what he does next year. Subscribe to my channel on Sunday Jones. My happy. Bye.